The Raiders introduced Klint Kubiak, plus Bad Bunny's halftime show, and an Olympian joins us from Olympic Village. You're not going to want to miss this. SOS starts right now.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Welcome to Sound Off Sports. On today's show, Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime performance, success or failure. We hear your thoughts. Plus, Shaq Murray Lawrence, an Olympian, joins us from Olympic Village. But we start today's show with the Raiders making Klint Kubiak the new head coach. I'm Mike Davis, joined by James Edward Barrickman the fourth. James, we always talk about this, the introductory presser. So much.
Does it matter? Does it not matter?
Does it matter? Does it not matter? We've seen good instances, bad instances, but here's my few takeaways from the introductory presser. The guy seems, at 38, coming off of a Super Bowl victory with Seattle, very honest, very authentic. He didn't try to be anything he's not. He's not, a showman, entertainer, huge personality guy. I think Pete Carroll has a likability and an energy to him, so it was a little different last year when that presser happened. But I think Kubiak said a lot of interesting things. The two major notes I took were, one, he says connected teams win, so I like that. There's going to be a lot of unity between spy tech, between Brady, between scouting, between the coaching staff, the players. I liked all that. And then he also used this phrase called silent tape. And I've never heard that before. And he's saying that, somebody was asking him about his scheme and how he was able to get Seattle playing so well from an offensive standpoint, but he says it's really about the silent tape, the little things that might not show up on a stat sheet, but that propel teams to victory. So I really liked a few of the things he was saying. He even mentioned, the NFL films, The Autumn Wind is a Raider. Right. So,
I've been whistling it all morning long.
Have you really?
Yeah. I on the way into work this morning, I'm shocked Jess, our editor, didn't come out and smack me in the head. This feels like the beginning of the resurgence for the Raiders. I'm not a Raiders fan. We just covered this team. But I'm excited. This one feels different.
It's crazy because since they moved to Vegas, 6 coaches.
It's been horrible. It's been a train wreck.
It's been just a carousel of coaches. But Spytek mentioned some interesting things himself, the general manager of the Raiders. He said, listen, they went through 22 interviews. And James, you and I always talk about this. It doesn't seem like they always do their due diligence in these coaching hirings and the process. So now with 22 interviews, waiting to the last second, Kubiak's going to, win the Super Bowl. Tomorrow he's going out to celebrate the parade. Then he's going to come back to work in the building the very next day. So listen, we know what this guy is capable of. He obviously comes from the Shanahan tree. His dad, Gary Kubiak, was the backup quarterback to John Elway and then won a Super Bowl as the head coach of the Broncos in Super Bowl 50. But he comes from the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan thought of offense, where you can do a lot of play action, you can run the ball well, and you're efficient. And we saw Kenneth Walker. He had the game of his life as a Super Bowl MVP in this game, and he was in a running back by committee situation where people in fantasy football are like, Zach Charbonnet is better. So he did something right. He did a lot of things right this year, especially JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba getting Offensive Player of the Year.
Blew up onto the scene, right?
So listen, they changed from Seattle in 1 year there, Kubiak, changed from the 28th best rushing offense to the 10th. They had the 3rd highest scoring offense in the NFL and 6th in the NFL in terms of average yards per play. These are all things the Raiders were just horrific at this past season. So I think this is the best outcome you could have hoped for in this current coaching cycle. I really do.
100%. And listen, did he blow me away with his charisma at the podium? No. Did he seem like he was super comfortable up there at all? No, but if you're surrounded by 6 Hall of Famers and your boss and you have hundreds of cameras in your face, you probably wouldn't feel comfortable either. But you could see once he started to settle in, okay, this guy, maybe he's not the best in front of a ton of cameras, but he seems like a guy who's going to be able to be a good leader in a locker room. Liked a lot about what he was talking about the silent tape, and it's all about the work. He said that he has to earn being the head coach of this football team every day, and I love everything he claimed to be about it. But today was never going to sway me one way or another. It didn't really matter to me what he said at the press conference. I just love this hire because they got the guy that everybody wanted. They got the style of coach that everybody wants. The young, offensive mind, innovative, adaptive, a McVay, Shanahan, Ben Johnson type.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's cut from that cloth. Is he going to be that successful as a head coach? We'll see. But I feel very comfortable saying this. I think the Raiders are going to be playing meaningful games in December, potentially as soon as next year, and in 2027 for sure.
I think 2027 for sure. Here's what I think is very easy to get psyched up about as a Raiders fan. Number one, let's not even talk Fernando Mendoza yet, because that's obvious. But having a guy like Klint Kubiak, who has a great scheme, a great system. Listen, Seattle's, their offensive line is not that tremendous, but he finds ways to make it efficient. So now you see in the press conference, Ashton Genty sitting in the stands, and you're like, you know
Max
what?
Crosby there too, unrelated.
But let's
somewhat.
just say Ashton Genty being there. You're like, you know what? They used prime capital on this guy in the first round. Look what he was able to do with Kenneth Walker. Ashton Genty, Kubiak says, yeah, I was a big fan of him at Boise State. We all were.
Of course.
You know?
Right.
Now let's see what he can actually do running in a Kyle Shanahan run scheme
Zone
system.
run scheme, right.
You know, I can't wait to see that. What about Brock Bowers? What about all this stuff? And then you put in the fact that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick. This is a guy who was a passing game coordinator with the Vikings. He was a passing game coordinator with Shanahan and San Fran. He did great stuff as an OC in New Orleans. And now 1 year in Seattle, he's handling the offense. They win the Super Bowl. So now you're starting to see, wow, we got a guy who's a good cook, a good chef.
Right.
Now he's got all these toys and ingredients to play with. We actually might be pretty good next year.
I am with you 100%. And I think if you're a Raiders fan and you want to look at what he has done, what is his resume, what is he going to bring to the table, look no further than that stat you mentioned. 28th in rushing yards last season with
Seattle.
with one of the with Seattle with one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Boom, turns it around, number 10 rushing offense the next season. Raiders, what was the issue this year? Their O-line was trash and they couldn't run the football.
Yeah. I
trust him wholeheartedly to get at least the offense figured out and scoring points.
And listen, I know we got to go to break, but I just want to say this. I might get flack for this, but I really think the difference between Seattle last year and this year, it's not as much about Sam Darnold as it is about Klint Kubiak. I'm going to come out and say that.
100%.
I really think, listen, Sam is an upgrade from, what they had, but I still think this is Klint Kubiak's real markings. It's obviously a Mike McDonald situation. He's a defensive genius mastermind, probably a top 3 coach in the NFL right now. But you're not winning a Super Bowl without having Klint Kubiak as your OC.
I'm with you 100%. And we've talked about this on previous shows. What was Sam Darnold's biggest issue? Yeah, he threw for 20 yards in Minnesota, but it was turning the ball over, but in the biggest moments. And what did Klint Kubiak help him stop doing?
Turnovers.
Stop turning the ball over in the play.
He got through to him. He made him just, do efficient passing, progression type stuff. So listen, this is a great day for Raider Nation. You got to be hyped up. I implore you to go to the Raiders YouTube page. Go to our YouTube page and go check it out. We want to hear your thoughts. 702-855-3502. Coming up after a short break, we got some more Sound Off Sports, so you don't want to miss it.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
All right, guys. Well, it is Olympics time, and we are joined right now by a former UNLV football star, a guy who is representing Team Canada in the bobsled. This is Shaq Murray Lawrence. You may know him as Shaq Moo, joining us. His event starts on the 15th, but he is joining us from Olympic Village right now. Shaq, how is it all going? What is it like being in Milan for the Olympics right now?
Right now it's a dream come true. They have us up in Cortina. That's one of the sites. And we're just trying to stay focused and locked in and waiting on our event to start.
It's crazy because we got to get into your whole story. Obviously, playing football at UNLV, you still rep UNLV on a daily basis. I see you got that iced out chain and all the stuff you're doing. But this is exciting because you really are. I love your confidence. You have expressed how you are the number one pusher, I guess, brakeman in the bobsled community when it comes to Canada. Tell us. Last time, there was some racial controversy surrounding you not really getting your start, being an alternate. But this time, it's all you, baby. You're the front and center. You're bringing the swag. You're all over in the media. What does it feel like this time in 2026 to really get your start? How are you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, it's my time now. I put in the work. I made sure when I came back, I was going to just dedicate the 4 years to just pure domination. And now I'm seeing the results of that.
And express to us, for people who aren't, fluid with this sport, 4-man, 2-man, you're going to be competing in both. Tell us about your job.
So my job as a brakeman in the 2-man, it's just 2 guys pushing. You got the pilot, he's doing all the driving. My main priority and job description is to push him to the fastest possible start and hang on for dear life and pull the brakes at the end of the race. And 4-man, more of the same, except I got 2 other teammates on the sidebars, Mike Evelyn and Keaton Brugling, 2 monsters. So we like our odds.
Thanks so much to Shaq Moo, Shaq Murray Lawrence. We're wishing him all the best with Team Canada and his 2- and 4-man bobsled events. Go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to check out the complete interview. Welcome back to Sound Off Sports. All right, it's time. You guys wanted this more so than you and I even, James. We got the most responses, the most calls I've ever seen for a topic on Sound Off Sports.
Over 1,400 Facebook responses.
22.
That's not even counting the calls. We're not talking about X. We're talking about Facebook alone.
I saw in my email 22 voicemails alone. So 702-855-3502. Make sure you give us a buzz. We want to hear your thoughts. Now, of course, what are we getting at here? Why did you guys want to call in? Because it's one of the most hot button topics.
The most controversial Sound Off Sports topic in the history of this show. And this is episode 100, Mike.
It is, and we spoke about this in a previous show when it was announced, but obviously, Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance, was it a success? Was it a failure? Let's go to the calls.
That halftime show sucked. I have never seen a halftime show suck so bad. That guy sucked. I don't think he should have even been put on there. I don't even know who he is, but he sucked.
All right, that's just a start. Okay, James, let's hear another call.
Yeah, I think the Bad Bunny halftime presentation was pretty good. It's refreshing. It's different, of course, but I didn't see it offend anybody. Everybody seemed to have a good time, and it was like our country. It was diverse. So I give it a thumbs up. Okay. Thanks for letting me voice my opinion. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, 702-855-3502. It's the best way you can be a part of the conversation with us. A lot of people wanted to phone in, give their thoughts, James. What was your reaction to the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny? Success or failure?
I thought it was a success. Again, and I was saying this earlier this morning, there's a lot of times where they will announce the Super Bowl halftime performer And me, if I'm not familiar with the artist or I don't really know who the artist is, I'll be a little disappointed, right? I felt this way about when they announced Usher for the Las Vegas Super Bowl. Usher did his halftime show. It's one of my favorites of all time now. Same way with Bad Bunny. I was like, oh, well, I don't really know Bad Bunny's music. I don't really know who he is. I've seen Happy Gilmore too, but I don't listen to anything. It didn't matter. I didn't know the words. I didn't know any of his music. I didn't care. It was fun. It was upbeat. It was so well put together. It felt like you were in a music video. There were beautiful women dancing, and the music was fun too, right?
Hey,
like,
anything,
I didn't know it.
Anything with Alex Earl and Jessica Alba, I'm there.
Yeah,
it was
like,
pretty
what
good.
What was there not to like other than, sure, you didn't understand what he was saying because he was speaking Spanish. Who cares? It was about the vibes.
All right,
for
let's
me.
go to another call, James. We got so many to get to. Let's hear what more people are saying.
Hi, this is Bruce. I felt disgusted with Bad Bunny. Most of the thing was in Spanish. I'm English speaking. It's the 250th anniversary of our great country. And we bring somebody in that puts on probably a great Spanish presentation. But to me, it sucked. Flat and simple. It was a slap in the face. The NFL should be ashamed.
All right, so first of all, I mean, Puerto Rico is part of our
Correct.
country.
Yes.
So it's a territory and it is part of our country. That's
Correct.
number one. But I have my biggest pet peeve with the criticism. Listen, are there a lot of artists that I would have preferred over Bad Bunny? 100%. I would have loved to see Chris Stapleton or, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Even Green Day doing the main thing would have made me happier.
Cool. Right.
But you got to admit, the sets, the cinematography, the whole entertainment component to this was pretty spot on. I mean, it was engaging stuff. But here's my pet peeve, okay? There's tons of music. Let me just frame it this way. When people say, well, I couldn't enjoy it because I don't understand what he's saying because he's speaking Spanish, there's so many American artists and musicians that I love, and I have no clue what they're saying. Like Pearl Jam, okay?
Right.
Pearl Jam's lead singer, Eddie Vedder. If you listen to any of these songs, Yellow Bedletter, and any of these songs, okay? Elderly woman behind the counter of a grocery store, whatever that song's called. You have no clue what this dude is saying. So that's not a good argument. I don't even know what Kendrick Lamar's saying in half of his stuff, but I still enjoy it. So if you listen to Pearl Jam, any of these bands, you don't know what they're saying. The lyrics go by, like, I can't even understand half of this stuff.
I'm with you. To me, if it sounds good, it sounds good. I don't really need to understand or know what your lyrics are.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
but listen, Bad Bunny is a good entertainer. You can't say he's not. The dude was the best part of Happy Gilmore too. He knows how to entertain. I thought it was definitely a success.
And the whole
was
thing
it
about
was it better than Paul McCartney or Tom Petty or Prince's, Super Bowl halftime show? No, but it was better than I thought it was going to be.
The one that's baffling me is, why would they get a guy who doesn't speak English? He's not even from America. Well, he's Puerto Rican. It's a U.S. territory, so that doesn't make sense to begin with. Secondly, of course, the NFL is going to try and land a global superstar for their biggest events crown jewel. Of course they're going to go with Bad Bunny because you know what Bad Bunny brings? Global eyeballs. And you know what global eyeballs gives the NFL and the Super Bowl? Money. And it is not a hard concept to understand for any normal adult.
No. The other thing here is the NFL's trying to become more global. I mean, it's not like,
of course,
it's not rocket science.
That's why they play in Australia. And
how many games do they have overseas now? I mean, so they're really trying to break away from just being, the sport from the United States of America. They're trying to become a global sport. And you can see Bad Bunny is part of that initiative. Guys, coming up after a short break, we got more Sound Off Sports, so you don't want to miss it. All right, welcome back to Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis here with you. James, let's go to another voicemail on this whole Bad Bunny halftime performance controversy.
Bad Bunny's halftime show was fantastic. The cinematography and the choreography that they used with the cameras, along with the production, the choreography, and everyone involved, was one of the best halftime shows I've ever seen.
All right, so James, let's break this down. You took some notes when it comes to, you calculated the responses we got on our socials. How did it all break down?
Here is our Sound Off Sports fan vote. Bad Bunny's halftime show, success or failure. 45% said success, 41% said failure, but another 9% said they didn't watch, and another 3% said they watched the Turning Point USA alternate halftime show. So those were the results in our 1,400 plus comments. We got so many responses, so many calls. We couldn't even fit them all into the show. We just don't have the time in our 22-minute window here.
Hey, whether you agree, disagree, I just like the love of you guys calling in. 702-855-3502. James, can we get one more last call in here? Let's try.
Well, we watched the halftime show, and although we didn't understand one word of it because we don't speak Puerto Rican or Spanish, I'm sorry. I think the presentation looked good, but it's unfortunate that I would guess more than 50% of the audience had no clue what was going on. I think it should be a little bit more traditional, but I'm an old-timer.
All right, thank you so much for all those calls, James.
No, I really, really liked the halftime show. Again, didn't know the words, didn't know his music, but I still thought he killed it. And I think just because you don't know the lyrics or you're not familiar with the artist, you can still acknowledge when somebody put on a great performance. And I think that's exactly what Bad Bunny did.
Listen, 702-855-3502. We always want to get to your calls, your thoughts, your opinions. We love to hear them. Thanks so much for tuning in. For James, for Jess, I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time here on Sound Off Sports.